In this video, I'm going to cut straight to the chase and I'm going to show you the exact sales process that I've used over the course of the last 30 days in my online service business to get a 65% close rate on average, which is pretty remarkable, to be honest. So if you don't know me already, my name is Reuben Shears. I have an online funnel building agency that I'm kind of building and scaling in public in these daily update videos, trying to provide you as much value as possible. And this video in particular is most likely going to be the most valuable video on this entire channel out of the 38 that I've done so far. To be honest, I really shouldn't be giving this away for free, but here we are. So if you stick around for this video and you take notes and you implement what I tell you, you are about to make a ridiculous amount of money. And it might even be the most valuable YouTube video that you've ever watched. And I don't say that lightly and I don't say that often. And that's not something I throw around it. I genuinely mean that. This is years of knowledge condensed into kind of a single video. So this video I will likely use to direct my clients to when they might be struggling with sales stuff and to watch this video. So if you're one of my clients, hi. If you're not, then you should be one. And you should go in the link in description. But here we go. Okay, so the way we sell things, right, in B2B and I guess B2C as well, but I'm going to be talking more about B2B sales. You use a Zoom call or a Google Meet call, right? An online sales call where you're sat with someone face to face with the opportunity to kind of sell them on what you've got, or at least do a deep dive of the current bottlenecks they're experiencing in their business, right? So it's split into 4 key parts, right? The intro, very short. There's not like loads of small talk for 15 minutes. You're not trying to gauge like everything about their family and whatever, where they live. Just a quick 30 seconds. I'll dive into that in a moment. The next thing is the discovery element. So this is where we're going to do a deep dive of their current situation in their business, potentially some bottlenecks that they will be experiencing and what's stopping them from getting to the next level. That's the idea of kind of this discovery element. You can see that actually, if you look at it as a proportion, it is the majority of the sales call as a percentage. Then we have like kind of the offer demo. So this is the pitch element where this is your opportunity to show what you have to offer and if it's the right fit for them. And then we have the close and potentially onboarding if you do actually close them, right? And there's lots of little niche things going on here that are going to ensure that you maximize the output of this sales call in terms of cash collected, in terms of referrals, that sort of thing. And I'll dive a little bit deeper into that. But let's start all the way at the beginning, which is the intro of the sales call. By the way, before I start, this video probably will be a longer one today, just because there's so much value here. And I'm just going to do it all in one go. So if I make mistakes when I'm talking as well, I do apologize. But the first thing, right, is doing an audio and video check. So it's literally like, hi name. So, hi John, can you hear and see me all right? Hopefully they'll say yeah. It's like, cool, like how's your week been so far, man? That's the next question. It's like, oh yeah, and where are you based again? And then they'll tell you where they're based. And then that's like, that wasn't even 30 seconds. That was about 15 when I just said that there. So they might ask you where you're from and stuff, and you can just quickly answer that. But then what you need to do is you need to take frame of the call, right? This is extremely important. Because if you don't do this, they're going to feel like they're running the show when they jump on the call. And in reality, this is your call. This is your opportunity to pitch your services to them because they have booked in with you, right? So it's your call. You take frame of it. And the way we take frame is by basically saying, cool, we've got about 30 minutes today. Is it all right if we jump in? And then we basically say the objective of the call today is to do a bit of a kind of deep dive of your current situation and your marketing to ensure that, if I do actually have something to offer to you, then we can do that in more depth. Does that sound good? And then you just kind of do that, right? And that's how you kind of frame the call. That's the idea. They'll say yes to that, and then you can just go straight in, right? And then we just go through this framework. So now we are entering kind of the beginning of discovery, just ensuring that we've ticked a few boxes off as a condition for these calls. So we asked them why they booked a call, because at this point, they're probably going to open up about quite a lot of stuff anyway, right? Like they might even just give you the root of the problem. You're very lucky if they do that. But they might just give you some sort of vague answer about, what they might be experiencing right now in terms of the business. And maybe just that they were interested, right? But then what we do is we ask if they've watched the VSL. So if you don't know what a video sales letter is, you can go and watch another one of the videos on my channel about how to build one of those and what that is and the role that it plays in a funnel. Is essentially to pre-handle a lot of the objections you're going to get on a sales call and get people ready to understand what your service is, right? So we make sure that every single person that we have a discovery or sales call with has actually watched this video, right? So if they jump on and we say, have you watched it? And they say, yes, great. We'd ask them what the takeaways from that were. And if they didn't, we literally say, that's going to save us about 20 minutes today. And it's only about 5 minutes if you put it on 1.5x. So is it all right if you just watch that video. I'll quickly go on mute, turn my camera off, just get a drink of water while you watch that, and then we can go from there. And they will say, yeah, most of the time. If they don't, then you're going to have to reschedule the call and make sure they've watched it before then. In most cases, 99% of cases, one of these outcomes is going to happen and you'll be all right from there. So like I put here, objective here is to ensure that everyone starts with the required context, because if you have some people that have watched the VSL, some people that haven't, your metrics are going to be completely skewed. You're not going to understand what on earth is going on with your sales process, what's going wrong, what's going right, and even the validity of the VSL itself. The next part is now where we're diving into really understanding the logistics of their business. This is specific to kind of what I do with my sales process. Again, obviously this is my sales process here. So these questions might be slightly different for you, but it's understanding everything about their current situation. So if you have a B2C offer, or you have an offer that's a little bit different to mine where it's kind of a numerical ROI of kind of marketing spend, then you might want to be asking about whatever your offer is and what they're currently experiencing. So we ask about their business in general. So I kind of say, could you just give me a quick rundown of kind of your business, and then we can start broad, but go from there. They'll give me context. I'll kind of find something I want to talk about from there. And then we kind of just say, if we can just ask them a few questions about the business, right? Obviously in a smooth manner. It's not like an interview. It's just weaving it and kind of making it real and realistic, because it is, right? That's the whole idea. So I asked them, what their annual revenue is, profit, what offer they're running, how they're currently getting clients with their offer, their client flow, so how many they're getting per month, LTV estimation, so lifetime value, how much are people kind of spending over their entire lifetime when they work with those guys, and how old is the company. It's interesting to know that, and how kind of sophisticated they are in the market. And then we go into what the goal is, right? Because if they don't voice their goal in the call, how can you say you're going to help them, right? You need to understand where they want to be to ensure that your service is the thing that gets them there, or can get them there. Because if someone says to me that they have a goal of doubling their cash collected, or they might not explicitly say that, but I want to get to 30K a month or whatever, and they are currently at 18 or something, it's very realistic that they're going to get results with us. And I want to validate that before I even pitch them anything, right? I don't pitch to everyone, because some people are not the right fit based on their answers to these questions. So hopefully that helps with that. Then we asked them, what is that one thing? I'm gonna change my camera for this, because this is the best line of my entire call. What is the one thing stopping you from getting to that goal of 30K a month, or whatever their goal is, right? Because when you say that, they are going to say what the problem is. And if they don't, you have to kind of say, well, there must be something, man, because otherwise you'd be there right now, kind of like that. And then that will get them to voice, a problem that they're currently experiencing. When they've done that, we're getting them to tell us more. We're diving deeper into the problem, maybe even logistics about that problem. This is where you start to kind of understand more deeply what the issue is for them and whether you can actually help them or not. If they do have a problem, it's bad, and you found out stuff about it, dive even deeper, right? So if you found that the problem is they're not making enough revenue because their marketing isn't working, and you say, okay, what isn't working about the marketing? And then you say, what's the implication of your marketing not working? Well, I can't, I'm not making enough money in the business. Okay, yeah, but why do you want to make more money in the business? I want more money for my personal life. I want to do this, blah, 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 blah. And then you kind of link it up to that as well. It has a personal attachment to what's going on in their life, if that makes sense. If they have told you a problem, that is kind of the green light to ask for them to explain more problems, right? That they might be having, because there might not just be one problem you want to solve for them with your service. You might be able to solve multiple depending on what you're selling, right? Now, once we've done that, after you've cycled through that a few times, getting a few problems that you've kind of acquired and now you've understood, you're saying that based on, obviously, if this is actually true, you're not saying if it isn't, but you say, based on the problems you're currently experiencing, I think we can definitely help you with conversion ecosystem. So, do I have permission to kind of just run you through that? And they will hopefully say yes, and they pretty much always do. Before we even pitch, we just say we do have a kind of a total amount of space, people that can work with us at one time. So it would be pretty hands-on. Does that work for you? It was scarcity, right? That's why we do that. Then what I do, this is custom to me, but you can do something similar. I run them through a custom demo related to their business that I have built for them before the call, considering they are qualified, and I want to show them the way we do things. So that's kind of showing them what a landing page might look like, the structure of that, talking them through it. for their exact business. And that's kind of where I do the demo and the pitch at the same time of like what they're actually going to get. Obviously, your deliverables are not going to be the same as mine. So just understand that this is where you do that. This is the point in the call where you're actually showing your stuff. Notice that it isn't half an hour long talking about your stuff and not letting them speak. A lot of the speaking is actually done by them. If you want a perfect ratio, it's like 80% them talking, maybe even more, 20% you, because you're asking questions, not in an interview fashion, but one that actually makes sense and they're talking about their business, because that's why you're here. You're talking about helping them, not the contrary. So that's what that's for. Do the pitch. This is when you are talking most of the time in that little period, but it's only a few minutes, right? And then you just kind of, if you've done your due diligence before the call, then you should have kind of a pre-objection handle that they might be experiencing. So it's like, you kind of just like say what that is and the solution to that. So we solve this by doing this, right? Then you can now go for the close, right? This is the main part, right? You're trying to get them to get started, right? So it's literally no harder than this. Don't overcomplicate the close at all. It's literally, so last question for you. Are you ready to get started? And they will either say yes or they will say no. And based on that, you need to decide how you're going to respond. So if they say yes, you actually make sure they want to. I love this. Like it's so good for them to just kind of get hyped on the call. Same for me as well. Like I think it's great. They say yes and I say, you sure? And they say, yeah, 100%. You sure? And they say, yeah, 100%. And then they go for it, which is great. Collect payment, obviously you just drop the link in the Zoom chat and they will sort that for you whilst you're kind of maybe getting the Slack ready or whatever to onboard them, right? Because I think it's really important to deliver some sort of value like on the call immediately and like getting them started and getting them rolling, because that reduces buyer remorse. And I think it's just really important for people. So that's why I'm doing that. I'm getting them to Slack, getting them like configured with certain softwares and stuff just within those last kind of 15 minutes. However, before I do that, I am asking if there is anyone else that might be a good fit for this as well. So you're basically asking for a referral at the point of close. I've talked about this before in a previous video, a little bit more in depth. But if someone is basically just buying from you right in that moment, they're at the pinnacle of kind of their like decision-making process, which means they're more likely to actually refer you than any other point other than when they get the desired result, right? But that's the common factor amongst everyone, is that you can do this at this point and make it part of the sales process. So if they say yes, then you ask them for a referral. And if they refer you someone, then you basically say, put us in a group chat, kind of 3-person group chat, and we'll set up a call with them from there and you go from there. If they refer someone, ask for another one, because they are actually more likely to refer you if they've referred you one person before than someone who hasn't referred you at all, right? So you'll get the majority of referrals in a deviation that is non-linear. And I mean, like, there'll be some people that refer you way more than others, and that's the game, that's how it is. So we need to maximize that. So you set up the group chats, you set up the Slack channel, blah, blah. And then I book the first call with them because I like them to know when their first kind of like value offer mapping session is with me. So whatever that is for you, make sure you schedule that with them on the call and not kind of after leaving them in the dark. It's really important that you deliver value almost immediately. That is my sales process. Other than actually, by the way, if they say no, then you need to go into kind of a objection looping, and I'll probably do a separate video on objections because it's its own kettle of fish really. But yeah, you just kind of solve them and then you just repitch. One common factor that I learned from Hormozy is the people that ask the most for the sale are the most likely to get the sale. I know that sounds blatantly obvious, but you'd be remarkably surprised how many people don't ask for the sale enough and and don't get the sale. That is a remarkable amount of thunder that's going on outside of my office currently, which put me off. But anyway, so that is the sales process. How far are we? Okay, we're in 40 minutes. This is my longest video. It's not like some insane 1-hour masterclass, but if you follow that step by step, right, that framework, you are going to get insane results in your business. Because you can even just like, if you can't remember this off the top of your head and you haven't drilled it in enough yet, you can kind of have that on the left hand side screen and just like move through it like whilst you're on the sales call. That's fine, to be honest. It's just like kind of a prompt to know what you need to say. But like I would advise, drill this into your brain consistently every single day until this is like looking at the back of your, like knowing it like the back of your hand, to be honest, because I know this like inside and out. Like I can just jump on a call, run through that, and it won't be a problem. It's super interesting as well because I just jumped off a call with with a good friend who is like he manages sales teams for some big info offers and other agencies as well. And he was saying that when he saw me take a call like 1 year ago, like a sales call recording, he said the difference between then and now is unfathomable. And I'm super happy about that because that means I've improved and the effort that I put in has paid off. And obviously that shows in the numbers anyway that I've pulled in with my company. So this does work. This isn't some fluff that I've randomly made up. This is a proven sales call framework, and it is the visualization of Alex Hormozi's 80-page kind of handbook that he trains his closers on, synergized with what I've seen work for myself over time from empirical evidence. So hopefully that helps. Definitely come back to this video. If you're about to take a sales call, watch this video again and just drill it in, and you'll be good to go from there. That's gonna be it for this video. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna track my metrics as well. So let's do this. And the thunder is so loud. Let's go here. Subscribers on YouTube, we have 116. We have 1161 on Instagram, and we have 8851 on there. Cool. Well, it's not cool, actually. I lost a subscriber overnight, so I'm not happy about that. Whoever that was, fuck you. But other than that, we've grown on LinkedIn consistently again, and Instagram I'm doing nothing on, so I don't even know why I track that, to be honest. I guess it's just to prove that the inputs on the platforms I am actually doing things on have a correlation with results. So there you go. There's my LinkedIn, and there's my YouTube growth. Bit of a plateau recently, but I'm willing to bet that this video will help quite a lot. Not insane views, but like this should be rewatched because this has made me the most amount of money out of everything I've ever talked about. So if you don't have a funnel built or you need help with your sales process, then please do go to the link in the description to my website, watch my VSL, get on the call with me, and we'll go from there. Because I'll be interested in working with you if you are kind of in the info space or an agency, and not just starting out and you're not a beginner, someone that's relatively sophisticated, got proof of concept, and you're ready to start kind of taking it to the next level. That would be great. Other than that, if you want to watch another one of these videos, then you can watch it on the screen here. You can learn more about funnels and stuff, and I will catch you in the next one.